This is going to be a fun video today, so let's get started.
So the first way that we are going to do clouds without any paintbrushes is, the very first one is your finger. You have 4 fingers you can use, which is 4 different sizes. So we're going to use our first finger. The very first one is your finger, so all you have to do is take your finger, the tip of your finger, and put it into some white, dip it into some white paint, like so. Now I would add a little bit of blue to that just to give it a shadow. And make sure you get enough white. I got about that much on there, so you can experiment with different amounts. And all you have to do is take your finger and touch and make these little circles. And you go up and down and around, see? And all you have to do then is don't put any more paint on your finger. Just keep making this little circle so we can soften out the bottoms. You already have your tops done now, so all you have to do now, look at that beautiful cloud. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm just moving my finger around, got a little extra paint on it. Just look, soft, fluffy cloud. And whatever is left over my finger, I'm just moving it around, and I'm just going to soften up the bottom edges here. I might even have some little wispy clouds left over. See that? Look, just by moving my finger. I didn't get any more paint, but that's a pretty cloud, isn't it? That's with your finger. That's how much paint I had left over there, see? So, when you're playing around with it, you can open up your hand and just use that extra paint to make a little top on your cloud. See there? But that's a cloud you may not even get with a brush. Isn't that cool? Always have some handy wipes so that you're nice and damp so you can clean your hands off when you're finished. And if you're allergic to paints, wear some surgical gloves, I guess you call them. They're nice and close to your skin so that you can still be able to do some clouds. And if you want to try your different fingers, different sizes, you can try it. I like my pinky. I like doing my pinky finger. Just going to tap into some white again. Maybe I'll use a little bit of red this time. A little bit of red with my white. Just tapping into each color. And just putting it on the top of my finger. Where are you? There you are. And I'm going to, let's get out so you can see it. I'm going to try another cloud. Let's say I want a nice little fluffy cloud. So I'm just touching. I'm getting the shape I want first. That's just a little cloud. See that? Then I'm going to use, my finger's almost empty of paint, but I'm not going to put any more on. I'm just going to soften up that bottom edge here. That's all. I move it out a little bit. Move it around a little bit so that it's moving across the sky. And I had some leftover paint here, which is a little happy accident there. And I'm just going to move my finger around to get the excess paint off, and that way it gives me nice soft, just little circles or just pushing, whatever works for you. But I find that if I just move my finger around, I get some wispy clouds, and I get soft clouds. That's not a bad little cloud, is it? If I want a little more highlight on it, I'll just add some more paint to my finger. And I'll add a little more, maybe up here. Just a little touching, just basically touch. You can even tap if you want. Tap, 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 tap. Look. Tap, 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 tap. Isn't that amazing? Just look how pretty that is. Now, that's with your finger. So you don't always have to have a paintbrush. Some people are having a hard time with their paintbrushes. Now, There's all kinds of ways to do paintings. I love using paintbrushes because I like the control I have. And I like the different things that paintbrushes do. So, but clouds, your fingers are amazing. You get amazing clouds. Look, that's really, really pretty. So you can use any one of your fingers that you're comfortable with. Just the tips of your fingers. Okay, and that will be your painting tool. So number two, let's see. You could use, for number two, what I'm using is anything soft, okay? Number two, you can use tissue paper. Okay, tissue paper, not paper towel. I think you can still use paper towel, but I don't think you'll get a really soft cloud with a paper towel. So I'm just going to wrap that around my finger. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dip into some white. Where are you? I got a messy palette here. I like to have a messy, don't mind having a messy palette. And I'm going to dip into some red again, maybe. Alright, so just a bit of red, and there's my colors right here. Let's see how that works out. Alright, so same thing. Decide what kind of clouds you have. Most clouds in the sky are usually kind of long and fluffy, and they're floating across the sky. So same that you do with your finger, just move your finger around. Just make a little circles. Good. Look how nice that. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. And I'm just tapping at it. I'm not pushing real hard right now. And then I'll soften up the bottom by just scrubbing away at it, pushing a little bit harder. Oh, nice, beautiful cloud. Look at that. Nice. Some wispy ones. Leftover paint. Isn't that nice? Now I'm going to take my tissue. And I may open it up. I doubled it up that time, so I'm just going to just do the one layer and pull it across my hand, my finger. I'm using my first finger. See? And I'm using a new piece. I'm not going to use the same one I did before. I'm going to pick up a bit of blue and a bit of white. And there's some. Alright, and I'm going to make a nice soft fluffy cloud over here. Just touching and making little circles. Now look at that. Just touched it. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to take out the edge here. Maybe move it up around. You know, just let it be nice and fluffy. Making circles really helps. Look at that. Now I'm going to come underneath. That's the trick to make clouds too, is a nice big fluffy ones, is to do your top first and then blend out the bottom. Look at that. Now that's really, really nice. If your finger comes through the tissue, then move your tissue around your finger again. All right. You can add more paint, or you can just scrub up the edges here too with your clean tissue. And your tissue is going to tear, so you may want to move your finger around a little bit more and more, okay? And if you want to add a little highlight, just move your finger around again, get some clean tissue with no paint. And you want a little highlight on the top, just add a little bit of paint at the top here. And you can add a little bit just by tapping. Tap, 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 tap. And then moving down a little bit and just going across. Whatever's left over, just use it for wispy clouds. Isn't that pretty? Is that pretty, or is that pretty? Very nice. Same thing with, if you want some more highlights on top of that one over there. A little bit of white, a little bit of blue, whatever colors you want on the top of your tissue, and go at the top of your cloud and tap it on. tap it on. I find tapping it on gives you some of your shadow colors. Keep some of your shadow colors. If you scrub it in, you might lose it. But try either way. You know, experiment. Experiment. That's what I try to do. I try to experiment, see what works. And then if I come up with something that I think you might be able to learn from, then I will do a video on it. So I was wondering what kind of different ways I could do some nice clouds. And I thought, you know, I'm going to try different tools and see if I can make them really pretty for you. Make it easy. A lot of people have trouble with clouds. And just clean up the edges. See? Look. Ta-da! Ta-da! Aren't they beautiful? Very nice. Now, your hand's probably going to be a bit of paint on it. Just take your paper, your wet wipe, hand wipes, baby wipes, whatever you have handy. Keep them handy and just wipe off your hands. See? Now, wipe off your hands. There we go. Nice. Now that's number 2. Let's try number 3. Now, the third way to make clouds without any paintbrushes is, ta-da, Q-tip. So you probably need a few Q-tips for this, maybe 2 or 3, depending on how many clouds, depending on how big your canvas is, all kinds of goodies. So I'm not even wetting this stuff, okay? So I'm just going to go into some of my blue and some of my white. All right. And you can make a pretty cloud. Let's see. All right. I'm just going to make some circles. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Now watch. When you come down below, that will really fluff up your cloud. It'll make it bigger. It won't be just a little line up there. Right? Look at that. Just move it across. Get clouds. And then come underneath. Just move your hand around. Don't even worry. Like, I think what the problem with sometimes is you concentrate so hard on trying to make the perfect cloud, and you're trying to figure out, you know, maybe you're not making the right stroke, or you're not making the right pressure. Just move your hand around, see what happens. Just experiment with different ways that you can move your hand around. See, that's pretty. So then if you want to add a few little highlights to your clouds, I'm just going to put white on my Q-tip, and I'm just going to tap, 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 tap. I may not want highlights everywhere, and then I'll just scrub underneath here to soften it up. Just move it around, and just scrub it around. See how pretty that is? I'm just going to add a little more paint to my brush and try adding a little bit up here. I think if you tap, you get a better result. Alright, just tap it down and then just move it around. You can move it around with your hand moving all kinds of ways, or you can just make little circles. Like I say, experiment and see what kind of results you get, okay? Just tap that. You can get some clouds down here. Move your Q-tip around a little bit. Just turn it around to get the paint off. The big thing too is not have too much paint, because then if you get too much paint on it, just use some paint on the tip of your brush. That's a nice fluffy looking cloud, isn't it? Isn't it pretty? That's with a Q-tip. You can also, I'm going to add a little bit of red to my white this time. You can make all kinds of stuff with Q-tips and different tools. I'll try to come up with a bunch of stuff for flowers and trees and whatever I can come up with, I will. And show you different tools that you can use to paint, because not everybody wants to paint with brushes, you know. So let's see. let's just not worry about if the pink side is down or the white side is down. Let's just tap on probably a big old cloud. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm now going to scrub at the bottom part here, just so I can get it nice and big and fluffy. That's, in my opinion, that's the secret to great clouds, because you know, having a bottom tier clouds gives them that fluffy look. And the shadows. I'm just going to tap on a highlight here, like that. All right. Start at the top. Get my highlight on there. Add some more white if you have to. Tap it on. And then when you get that done, you can even wipe off your Q-tip and if it's too much paint on it, and move it around. Look how pretty that is. Look, you even got some left over for some nice wispy clouds. Look at that. See? Usually when you bring some wispy clouds off the cloud, it gives them more of a natural look. Some leftover paint. See? Nice. I've had some students who really have a hard time with clouds because I think this is what they do. They put the white paint on their, it could be a brush or whatever they use. And I think what they do is they make a cloud just by making a circle, but there's no shape or anything to it, and that's their cloud. And they don't know where to go from there, so I'm hoping this will help. Some make clouds like they come over and then they come up and they come down and they have like two humps, and there's no shadows. There's just, you know, it's just that. But I mean, that's not a bad little cloud. But some people say, well, I can't do clouds, too hard. But they're not hard. So just smile and have a nice day. That's all. It's nice to smile and have a nice day. There we go. Smile. Now, also, you can use a sponge. Any type of sponge. Anything, you know, in my opinion, anything that's soft. Anything with a soft feel to it. So I'm just going to add some blue to the corner of this brush. No brushes today. To the corner of this sponge. And I'm going to touch and make little circles. Look at that beautiful cloud. Look at that. Oh my, look, that does a lot of work for you. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, I'm just going to drag it out a little bit on the edge over here. And look how soft that is. Goodness gracious. I never used this before for clouds, so I just picked it up and said I'll give it a try. Wow, look at that. Very, very nice. Now, you can even make your wispy clouds. The corner. That is so pretty, just by using the corner of that. Isn't that nice? Then you could take the clean part of it, I would think. I'm just experimenting with this one now. And softening up the edge here. Acrylics dry fast, so you may not be able to catch it. But look at that. Oh, almost dropped it that time. So if your hands get all messy, just use your baby wipe or your wipes for your hands. Clean them off. Let's see. That is really, really pretty. I want to try this sponge again with a bit of red and a bit of white. And I'm going to touch and lift, touch and lift. Now that's not too nice, is it? So if you experiment, you'll be able to see what works and what don't work. So I'm going to take a clean part of my brush. I hope I don't say brush again. The clean part of my sponge, and I'm going to rub that around in circles. Yeah, see, the circles is what really does it, isn't it? Look how soft. That's amazing. That's even softer than the other ones that I had there. Well, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to add a bit of white to the tops of those just to get a top. So you can maneuver it around whatever way works for you. I'm just going to squeeze it in my hand so that I get a little corner, so I can work with just a corner. And there we go. Oh, wow. I am really, really surprised by these beautiful soft clouds I'm getting from this sponge. I'm just going to tap at it. Tap and move it around. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm just tapping. And I'm going to find a clean piece and I'm going to just soften up the bottom there. Tap at it so I don't ruin it. Wow, that is gorgeous. I'm really happy with that one. So that's a soft sponge, okay? Soft sponge. Those beautiful clouds. Oh my. Cleaning off my hands again. I want to make my hands nice and clean with my towel, my baby wipe. So one more. I probably will think of a bunch more, but you think about it too. Think about what's in your house that's really soft that you could use to make clouds. Okay? How pretty is that? How pretty is that? Those clouds came out really nice, didn't they? Now that's easy ways to make clouds. So if you have any trouble with clouds, try those techniques and use them in your paintings. You won't even need a brush. And I'll show you some other techniques too that, you know, with different brushes and different ways of doing things if you don't have brushes. Okay, and I have lots of tips and tricks. Okay, so I think that came out really nice. I'm really happy with that. Really happy with those clouds and with those techniques. So if you have any other techniques that you like, that you use, leave some tips in the comments below and we can share them with our viewers. And I hope you have great clouds. If you do some clouds with using these techniques, let me know or send a picture to me at my email address, AllisonPryor@yahoo.com. I'd love to see them. And I hope you have a great day and happy painting, everybody. Bye. And if you have any questions about brushes or paints or anything about the painting itself, just email me at AllisonPryor@yahoo.com or leave a comment down below. And I will see you in the next video.